It's all good. Luckily, the sun moves, so we'll figure it out. Or maybe we move. I don't really know which one. I'm not a scientist. How's everybody doing? Yo, come on up. Everybody come on up real quick. Everybody stand up real fast. Everybody stand up real fast and jump up a row. Everybody come forward a row. Come fill these spots in. We're going to have a tight crowd today. In fact, we may even move to a much more intimate location in the near future, but that's a whole other story. Come on up. Come on up. We totally should switch the lights to pink today, but I didn't really think that one through. Plus, that one would switch to pink and the others wouldn't go that high, so I don't really know what's going on with that. One of them knew what was up, but the rest stopped at number 14, and it was 17. All right. You guys ready? Good? Evan, you're good? All right, sweet. Morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the 80-somethingth session of Masterclass Central Florida. Thank you guys for coming out. Can y'all just give yourselves a round of applause for coming? So, real quick show of hands. How many of you have been here before? Make some noise or show your hands. How many of you is this your first time? Raise your hand. Can we give a giant round of applause to the people that joined us for the first time? So we started this thing back in 2018. And basically, my team, we still do, the top 500 agents in Greater Orlando at the end of every year. And we host private events just for the top 500. But what would happen is we'd host these parties, and there'd be all these pictures and these videos, and people would be like, oh my God, how come I didn't get an invite? Or how do I get invited to the next one? Or I'm going to join you at the next one. And we were like, okay, just somewhere next year, high five. And it didn't really feel good, especially like I don't even sell real estate, so it's even weirder for me. I sold less homes than all of you. And so what we decided was, why don't we put the people that rank in the top 500 on a stage and have them teach whatever they're doing that's working to everyone else. And we can do it without any ulterior motive, without any brokerage or board affiliation, without any preference of side of town or business model or anything. We have no dog in the fight. We have nothing to sell you, nothing to recruit you for, or anything like that. We just want to elevate their level of professionalism and really just the average agent in Greater Orlando. So give yourselves a round of applause just for coming out. So we started doing this. We're like 80-something sessions in. And we've got a handful of sponsors that make real producers happen in general. There's about 90 of them. And they don't just bring bagels or donuts. They represent the best of the best of the best. They're all referred by top 500 agents. They're all vetted. They all support this platform long term. And so if you meet someone here, there's less of them here than usual because there's that giant LPT Expo. So most of them are probably there. But if you meet anyone here that does something other than real estate, they're not here by accident. They're one of the best at that thing. So if they're mortgage, title, inspection, photographer, or something, like you want to at least know them. Even if you've got someone, they're probably either better or at least someone that you should have on, speed dial. So if you ever need another one, these are probably the best to call. So anyway, I said that kind of convoluted, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. So anyways, we've got a handful of them that made today happen, and only a few of them are here, so this should be quick. I'm going to give each of them just a minute to share who they are, what they do, and tell you about it. But I want to share a quick story since I got a minute. Do I have a minute to share a quick story? I feel like I do. I got the mic. No one can stop me, right? So there's a story that I used to get told when we were doing Cut Go sales training. And we talk about how there was this guy, and he was asking Socrates what the meaning of success was. He said, Socrates, what's the meaning of success? And Socrates looked him in the eye and he said, follow me. So he starts following him, and they walk through town, and he's following. Socrates keeps on walking. The guy keeps on following. Socrates keeps on walking. They go up a staircase. They go around a corner. He keeps on following, keeps on walking. They walk for like a few miles, and they get out to the beach, and they keep on walking, and they keep on following. He keeps on walking. He's looking around like, what the hell's going on? I've been following this guy. He hasn't said anything. So they get to the beach. They get down towards the water, and he keeps walking. The guy's getting kind of confused. They keep walking. He gets up to his ankles. Socrates keeps walking. The guy keeps following. It gets up to his knees. The guy keeps walking, keeps following. Eventually gets up really high, and suddenly Socrates grabs the guy's head and shoves it under the water. And the guy's like flailing around. He can't breathe all of a sudden. He's starting to freak out. He's wondering what's going on. The last second, when he thinks it might be too much, Socrates rips his head out of the water. And he goes, what the hell? I asked you to show me the meaning of success, and you tried to drown me. And Socrates says, I just did show you the meaning of success. You have to want it like you want that last breath of air. See, guys, success is a choice. So the reason I share this story is because in the end of the day, inevitably, when the best of the best are coming up here and they don't have anything to sell you or anything to pitch you or any ulterior motive, and they're just going to share what they're doing, it's a choice whether or not you're here and whether or not you get value from what they say. Some people come here and they grab a coffee and they high five some people and they take some selfies, and they don't actually hear anything these people say, or they don't implement anything they say. Some people, like I know this dude right here, he comes to every single session. He leaves with the nuggets. He meets every person. He leaves with this giant smile, all fired up. So what I'm getting at is success is a choice. So first of all, can you give yourselves a round of applause for choosing to be here today? Because it's really easy to do. Like everything in success, whatever, however you define it, is usually really easy to do. It's also really easy to skip. So it's really easy to show up. It's also really easy to have a reason you didn't show up, or to be like, I'll come next month, no biggie. But what one of these ladies may share today is something that might change your entire business. I mean, these are all like some of the best performing women in Central Florida real estate. We're doing the men's panel next month. Why do we do this? All the funds that we raised today, which transparently probably are not that much because we got a small crowd, but it's all going to Breast Cancer Research Foundation. This is our 5th year of raising funds for something breast cancer related because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we've done this for 5 years now. And I think maybe 3 years ago, we were like, hey, why don't we do a men's panel in November? It just makes sense. So we do for the Movember Foundation that helps with men's mental health and testicular and prostate cancer. We have a blue session next month. So ladies and gentlemen, come join us next month as well. I'm going to stop talking, let these people talk. Y'all give yourselves a round of applause again for coming. But here's what I'd really like from everybody. Could everybody here bring a friend next month? Like everyone that's coming, just bring a realtor friend, just to be clear. Don't bring your lender, your title, or something. Bring a realtor friend and be like, yo, you got to come check this out. You know, they're best of the best are teaching. Why would you not be here learning from it? So anyway, I'll let you guys come on up. Come on up. Let's give these people a round of applause. I'm going to let them talk. I'm going to shut up now. Mike, kick us off, man.
Thank you for coming out today. I'm Mike with Central Florida Building Inspectors. We cover all of Central Florida from Ocala all the way down to Sarasota and Flagler all the way down to Melbourne and everywhere in between. That being said, this is a really important month. I'm sure breast cancer has touched someone you know in this room, or everyone in this room has been touched by it in some capacity. So make sure you go out, get yourself checked, and we need to continue to advocate for women's health care everywhere and make sure that it's being provided, because we're in an industry dominated by women, and not just on this panel and in production, but it's what, like 60 some percent of realtors are women. So let's make sure we promote that and take good care of all that. So inspections we do, breast cancer, see your doctor.
Thanks, Mike. Hey, good morning, everyone. Everyone looking very pretty, men dashing in pink. So way to show up and look good at doing that. I am very excited and honored to be here to listen to these ladies. I'm a big advocate of baddies in the industry, right? So I'm excited to hear from them. Behind every baddie that is a realtor is a baddie lender. So I am Jocelyn. I'm with Home First Lending, and I want to be your baddie lender. Right now, the industry is changing a lot, and we are getting excited. Do you know there's only 50 working days left in this year? We are now setting ourselves up for the beginning of next year, and you need a good lender behind you. So we do everything. I actually closed 40% of my business this year is non-qualified mortgages. I'm very experienced and well knowledge outside of just the stuff that is cookie cutter. Let's go find those deals and never turn a buyer away just because you don't know how to get qualified. We find ways to qualify. Again, I'm Jocelyn with Home First Lending. Come see me afterwards. Say hello. I would love to meet everybody, and you guys all look wonderful.
Good morning, everyone. Kurt Kramer with Sorensen Moving. We're a Mayflower agent, and I handle all things on the residential side of the business. We do about 12,000 moves a year. So we're moving a lot of families, and we're moving them all over the country, centrally or within Florida, and even international moves. I want to help you guys, and I want to make you look good. So if there's anybody that you know, any of your clients that are moving and need an honest and a reputable moving company, be more than happy to help. Have a great week.
Good morning, everybody. Every day does look beautiful in all the pink. It's like such a uplifting color, right? Makes you feel happy. Stacy Lino with Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. We are a direct mortgage lender right here in Central Florida. We've been around for almost 30 years. And I just want to ask you, how many of you are transactional in your business? No, one, maybe two. Okay, so how many of you are relational in your business? I hope everybody. Everybody should be raising their hand because this business is all relationships. All relationships. Your database is your gold. So if you're looking for a lender that wants to help you make your business more relational, I'm your girl. This is all I do. I built my business for about 30 years strictly on relationship building. And that means if you've got 400 people in your database, you don't need more people. You just need to go deep with the people that you have. So I'd love to talk with you after this in regard to that. Or if you have any lending questions, we do it all. We are a direct lender. We lend our own money. We do the vanilla stuff and we do everything else. So any questions, I'm here for you. Stacy Lynn with Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. Have a great day.
All right. And real quick, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors that aren't here today. I'll just read them all out, and then we'll just keep a rolling round of applause. Let's just clap for them. Blue Haven Pools, Shea Walker Photo, Artesian Title, Florida Home Photo, Jeff Mackey team at Pillar of Post is at the front. Richard's on crutches. So we have Assured Partners, Red Door Title. Humphreys was here, and DeVore Design brought the coffee. Let's make sure that you say thank you to Vic if you got any coffee. All right. Y'all ready to learn something today? Let me pull this back up. All right. Let's go first with Fernanda. With 16 years of experience, Fernanda Negromonte is 17 probably now because this is from last year. Is the owner of Nova Real Estate, one of her specialties serving foreign clients in Central Florida. She ranks in the top, I think she's in the top 25, but she said 50. Somewhere, any chair you want to pick. She's consistently in the top 50, and you sold how much last year? Like 40 million-ish? Somewhere around that. How much did your team sell last year?
Like 120.
Manages a team with Nova, or a few of y'all in the room. 120 million, small but mighty. Let's give it up for Fernanda Negromonte with Nova Real Estate.
Thank you.
Next up is Carol. We put the Brazilians next to each other. She's from Sao Paulo, Brazil. She's a top producing agent. She moved to Miami and built one of the hottest sushi restaurants in South Beach. So nice. This isn't in your bio. I'm just remembering it. So nice that she became the American Airlines Arena preferred sushi. So inside where the Heat play, she ran the sushi restaurant, and she built, as you could imagine, quite an extensive network of amazing people running one of the hottest places in South Beach and the Miami Heat's arena. But she moved to Orlando, became a luxury agent, is kicking ass, ranked in the top 30 agents in Greater Orlando last year, and sold over $35 million, probably a bunch of off-market stuff I'm not counting too. Can we give a giant round of applause for Carol Medeiros? Was that a decent enough, even though I didn't read that well?
Thank you.
Lisa Gould. She's consistently in the top 25 agents as well. She brings over 34 years of real estate experience to the table. She started in 1990, and she had a marketing account with IBM, transitioned that to becoming a top producing agent. And in 2012, she merged her boutique brokerage with Keller Williams Winter Park. And since then, she's basically been their top producer and has been crushing it and selling in the top 25 locally, doing over 35 million last year, something like that. Let's give a giant round of applause for Lisa Gould. Marissa Crawford. Which parts of this should I read? She's fluent in Spanish and has an understanding of Portuguese, which further enhances her ability to help people. She's from the Northeast, correct? Where are you from originally? New Jersey, I thought so. How long ago did you move here? 1999, and when did you get into real estate? So 2002. So 23 years in real estate, originally from New Jersey, over on the celebration side. Her and her husband, Michael, run the group they call Core 4, which stands for caring, organized, reliable, and exceeding expectations, which I think is pretty cool. And she sold, how much did you sell last year? I know everyone's 35, 40-ish. I just know I don't have everything. So 35 million-ish. Let's give a giant round of applause for all of these amazing women. All right. You can have this microphone. I don't know why I'm holding it. Let's start with this. I'll start with you since you got a mic now. Let's start with your stories. I want to hear each of your stories. What did you do before real estate? How did you get into real estate? And how did the first year go?
That's a loaded question. So I actually have a background in behavioral psychology, neurophysics psychology, UCF grad. Go Knights! And so I did that working with children with ADD, ADHD. Loved it. Had made a promise to myself that the day it became a job that I would transition out. I decided to, a friend of mine kept going after me for real estate. Uh, David Weekly Homes actually went after me back in 2002. I was in general real estate for 6 months, didn't know what I was doing. I was selling in spite of myself. And they said, "What are you doing?" And as somebody said here, this is a relationship business. I built it one person at a time with authenticity, candor, data, and started with David Weekly, 10 years, project management, sales manager, top sales manager. And then my husband said, I think we need to join forces. And in 2013, um, went and interviewed all these brokerages, went to KW, which is a great training group. Love them. Did that for 13 years. We were investors. Met with my husband said, so we got to talk to this brokerage technology company, Compass. And I'm a learner. I'm a forever learner. So if anyone that knows me, I'm a big believer in giving back. And if you don't know, you can't give back what you don't know, and you can't learn. So I'm forever learning. And we have a team, a small team here. Aaron's been with us for about 9 years, which is pretty amazing to have a senior buyer's agent. Then we have Barry, who's my little sweet little Puerto Rican family member, and my husband and I. And we just brought on a new agent 6 weeks ago, Wendy, who's a corporate executive from Nike, and we're building it one step at a time. I'm slow and steady. That's the story of my life.
Love it. Lisa, how did you get started and transition, and what's it look like now?
Okay. Well, I started my initial career was with IBM. I was a large account marketing rep in the Northeast, and I transferred here to Orlando. And there was a point I was with IBM for about 10 years, and they went through a what's the word? It was a buyout option to be able to retire early. And I was like, "Oh, no, no, okay, I'll listen to them." But then they shared how much money they would give us to retire. And I thought, "Ooh, I can be a developer now." That's what I wanted to be. So, got my license in 1990 and jumped in the residential path in a small boutique brokerage in Winter Park and Cross. I don't know if anybody here is old enough to remember Ann Cross. Thank you, one nodding head. Um, and subsequently from there, I was recruited to open the Better Homes and Gardens branch office in Winter Park. So I jumped into a leadership role at that time and kind of made my way through a number of brokerages and into a managing broker position with Signature GMAC at one time and Old Town Brokers and that group at one time. And 2008 happened. And when that happened, everything was very difficult. And I decided it was time for me to open my own brokerage, which most people found counterintuitive at the time. But it was actually a great time to do that. So Gould and Company was born. And from there, I ended up being recruited to talk to Keller Williams. And it was a great opportunity to merge the independence of a small boutique brokerage with a larger firm. So a team was born. I kind of moved from a boutique brokerage into leading a team at Keller Williams. So that's where I am now.
What's the team look like today? Sorry.
So the team is six. We have 6 people. We have 4 producers, of which I'm one. One of my top producers, Vicky, is here with us today, and that's Vicky Zeckman. And Angela Robinson is also on my team. She's been with me 11 years now. We also have Addison Bradford. And then I have a full-time operations manager and then a listing manager and buyer assistant. So that's how we're configured.
Love it. Carol?
Well, I started the real estate career not planned. I had a restaurant in Miami for almost 10 years, and it became a successful hotspot in Miami Beach and downtown. And everybody used to come to me asking for referrals, like lawyers, everything that you can think about. And I ended up referring friends, realtors, different friend realtors to my customers just because I trusted what they were doing. And when I realized how much money I was leaving on the table just by taking a license and starting doing at least referrals, that's when I decided to take my license just to do the referrals. And I was already tired of the operational of the restaurant too. It's a lot of job. We work a lot as realtor, but you cannot imagine in a restaurant business how you work. No holidays, nothing. So I decided to take my license and jump into the real estate career because the real estate referrals were becoming way bigger than the restaurants, and I could have more free time too. So I decided to move to Orlando because all my family is here. My older brother is a commercial broker. And I decided to start in Orlando with my family. I saw a lot of opportunity. Orlando is growing so fast. And I already have established network in Miami. So I still was selling Miami, but I wanted to discover Orlando business. So because we didn't have business here, I was driving around the first year, hustling as I believe all of us. I did all the courses like Aura, all the designations. I didn't have the experience, but I wanted to have the knowledge, not to look like a fool in front of my clients, and at least to provide a good service for them. And I started driving, knowing all the areas, meeting all the salespersons in the new communities because, as someone said here, is our business is all about networking, not networking only with customers, but with our partners. Partners are very important. I have long-term partners, and without them, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing now, like the way I'm doing now, because I trust them with my clients. So that's pretty much it. And now I built a team too. Leanne is here with me, one of the first one in my team. We are four today, four ladies, a multilingual team. Um, I have also two assistants, one transaction coordinator, a marketing person, and one assistant that does showings and all of that for me. It helps a lot.
How many languages when you say multilingual? Because if I remember right, it's a few.
Yeah, with three.
Okay,
Three
three.
languages. Yeah.
Love.
And yeah, this helps a lot. I have a lot of Hispanic clients, Brazilian clients, and American clients, so we can help all of them within the team. Um, I love sharing with the team. I love collaborating. I think that is important. I wish I had someone to mentor this with me. Maybe the first 2 years wasn't going to be that difficult, but I'm very passionate on what I do for everything that I do, and I always try to do my best. And that's it.
Love it. Fernanda.
I can breathe now.
I know. I was hoping that it would work.
Okay, so for me, I moved from Brazil when I was 18 years old, and um, I done pretty much everything. Like as someone who moved to this country, didn't speak any language, and you do what you have to survive and pay your bills. So I have a long list of things that I done before real estate, but I had a really nice group of friends because I didn't have much family here. I only had my parents. So my friends were like my friend. My friends were my family. And every time somebody would get a better job, they would just be like, "Hey, you have to come work with us." So they would just bring all the friends together. So we keep getting better in life together. And one of my friends, she got her real estate license and she went to work for timeshare. And she said, "Oh my gosh, you have to come work at this place. You make really good money. You work very little hours." And she brought like a whole group with her, like 10 people were working at timeshare. And I hate it. I cried so much. And I was like, I don't know, this is not for me. And it was 2008. And I have one of my mom's friends. She said, "Hey, I know you have your real estate license and I want to buy a condo. So since I'm going to have to hire agent anyways, why don't you help me out? And that's how I got into real estate. She gave me the first opportunity to represent her when I had no experience, it was just, and I was so grateful for that moment. And I took it with all my heart. I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do from now on. I didn't even realize it was 2008. And I remember it was like a $46,000 condo at that time. And I was so excited. It was a foreclosure, Fannie Mae. And to me, it was so easy. I'm like, this is easy. And so I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And I went to work with, I had a friend who worked for, it was Charles Rutenberg at the time. So I was there for a very short period of time. And those 100% brokerage, you don't get much support. So I just learned on my own most of it. And I was there for like I would say like 6 to 8 months. And I had a good and then I did a transaction with a Brazilian brokerage that at the time they're not a brokerage anymore. But it was just him, his wife, and another Asian. So we're a team of 4 people. And I did the transaction with him. They're like, oh, you should come work with me. I'm like, I don't know. But then this guy had all the REO listings. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I should go work with him. So I learned so much just being close to my brokerage at the time because we're a small team. And I was at the office every single day. I was like, I want to listen how these people talk to their client. What are the conversations that they're having? Because, like back in Brazil, before I moved here, I know I was 18, but I started working like super young and I work at a bank. So, you talk more like a corporate mindset. And then when I went to work for them, I'm like, oh, they're talking to their clients like they're talking to a friend. I think that's the approach I need to have. So my mindset shift right there. And I was just hustling. My first year was awful. And a lot of the Asians that come and they want to talk to me and they want to work with me, of course, they see us here, already producing like 30, $40 million a year, but it takes time. So you have to put yourself, you have to put the effort, you have to be consistent, and it's going to take a lot of time. I don't think I made money in real estate into my third year of real estate. And I remember the first year too, when I decided, I said, I'm going to go full in. I don't care. I have no other option. I was like focusing on my American dream. And I just work. And one day I had no money to put gas in my car. I had to call my dad. Hey, can you trust me like $10 because I didn't have money to commute to show a listing to a client. And then the rest is history. Because I work for a small brokerage, I never went to work for Compass, Sotheby's, and none of those big brokers. So in my head, I'm like, okay, so this is the way. I'm gonna do this for a little bit, and then I'm gonna open my own brokerage. And I did, and I opened over. I don't know. I'm very fast thinking. So I'm like, okay, when I think about something, I'll just do it. I don't think too much. And it was just for me. I did not have intention to grow as a team. It was like, it's going to be me and I own the property management. And I had friends, and then my friends started getting their license. They're like, hey, can I come over? So I had me and my friends who they only had their license and they want to buy their homes. And I'm like, okay, fine.
What's the team look like today?
Today, so after COVID, I shift everything. And I was like, I have to reinvent myself, because you get into this thing, like you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I decided to grow the team. Laf is here, is one of my first Asians who joined. And now we have about 30 Asians. Again, I am I only want a full-time Asians at this time. And we have a team of 30 Asians and we keep growing and evolving. And that's what it is.
Love it. Great answers. Quick question for the crowd. How many of you have had a moment like her $46,000 condo moment where somebody took a chance on you and it led to where you are today? How many of you guys know what happened in your story and can think of or identify someone you could thank? I have a question. Since you talked about how it takes time, you made me think I might as well ask about this. I'd love to hear everyone's best advice or words of wisdom or misnomers or mistakes you made, any of the above. Like when we talk about how it takes time to get to where you are, what are some lessons learned, mistakes, misnomers, or advice you'd give people that want to be in your shoes? I'll go with you, Marissa. Or actually, I can go to the other end if you want a second. Fernanda, you want to keep going?
the best advice that
Yeah.
yeah.
You had said it takes time to get the thing going. What are the biggest mistakes, lessons learned, or advice?
I think as an advice today, I feel that social media makes you doubt yourself all the time because you see Asians posting that they're not even doing what they're posting, you know? And then we start comparing ourselves to them. And I think the number one thing today is like, don't compare yourself. Like, you have to kind of laser focus on whatever you're doing and just go for it. Don't listen to what people say because if I had listened to what people told me and keep telling me, I wouldn't be where I am, you know? So I think your mindset is the number one thing. And you have to believe in yourself, believe you can do it, believe you're the best to get the job done. And as far as mistake, um, you're going to make mistakes all the time. Don't beat yourself up, you know? Just mistake happen, you wake up the next day and then you move on. You cannot leave in your mistakes because if you do, you get paralyzed, you can't move forward. I made lots of mistakes, I still do, you know, but we just keep continue going. Again, it's so easy, like when I have my agents too, that they make, you know, we all make mistakes and sometimes your confidence goes so low, um and you need to pick up and go. Mm, I don't know specifically, like, you know,
No,
but
that's
there's
a
a
great.
lot of them that I can't think about it too
We'll get
much.
some from the group. I'm sure that's a great answer. Carol, what are lessons you've learned, advice, or biggest mistakes you made in the process?
Well, I learned to be patient, something that I'm not. I'm Aries. I like everything for yesterday. I am a little bit very similar to Fernanda. I think I do. Sometimes don't think before doing, but this is about this business. When we start, is about being patient. We'll get there, and getting there just depend on us. How commit we are with what we choose to do, how passionate we are. uh, I'm very, I'm a very passionate person. We need to be determined and don't give up. We are gonna fail. We are gonna fail. But the main thing about failing is learning. You know, how do you deal with your failure? Are you gonna sit and cry about it, or you're gonna do something to fix it and learn something about it? I always say sometimes we win, sometimes we learn. We never lose. We learn, and that's about achieving the goals, you know. And I think the mistakes and the failures make us stronger, make us wiser. And the first thing I think I would say to a new agent is to be determined, and to be passionate, to be committed with your client, and always work on the best interest of your client. Never put you first than your client. Even if this is not something that you're gonna sell now, they will come back because you told them the truth, because you work on their best interest. And this business is about credibility, reputation, consistency. I have clients that are going to the 10th house, 11th house, because they trust me. They trust that I always work on their best interest, not mine. And I think that's the best advice I can tell. And wow, mistakes, so many. So many mistakes. Like, see, the first one was when I took my license. I thought I was going to rock because I had so many contacts, but I didn't have the experience. So I got a little bit frustrated because it took me 8 months to sell my first house, and I need to share the commission. And that happens. Just go and do it. Go for it.
Love it. Lisa?
Um, Second on both of your advice, very good advice from these ladies. I, as they were talking, I was thinking that the biggest mistake I think that I can share that I made is overthinking, which is a little unlike I'm a little bit of a I want it to be just right. I want it to be, and there is a danger in that. I think it's good wisdom to be prepared to make mistakes and not be afraid to fail because there is great wisdom in failing. And then the flip side of that is uh, the wisdom of resilience. And I talk about this a lot with my team and in my office is that in this business for longevity, having the ability to learn from your mistakes. There is no failure. It's a learning opportunity. It's always learning opportunity. So don't be afraid to take a chance and step out and do the things you believe in. And also the comments about always do the right thing is critical. Don't take a shortcut. Do the right thing. Always advocate on behalf of your clients, and it'll all turn out. But know that I think the resilience factor in this business is something that if you cultivate it, early and well, it will serve you well for the long haul.
Love it. Are you ready, Marissa?
So I would say for over the years, I've coached some top teams and was coaching and mentoring a lot of teams. And and from all different parts of the world, people from Romania and Brazil and Colombia. And I would hear it constantly, Marissa, I'm just afraid. And I used to say, every day I wake up, I'm afraid of not getting what it is that I know my heart leads me to. That's my fear. And so my mistake doing in this business, because I'm a conservative driver, which is a total oxymoron. Anyone who knows me knows that when I go, we go. We don't even think about it. We just go. But because I'm also conservative in my approach analytically, like every dollar, every penny has a name to it. In other words, I don't spend just to spend my way out of a problem. I say, does this dollar have a purpose? And if it doesn't leave my hand. And because of that, sometimes you have to invest to go big. And that's been my mistakes. Not everyone's mistakes, my mistake.
Can you give us an example?
So as we were growing, um, I probably could have grown larger faster, but because I want to make sure we have the right people and the analysis paralysis, you start to overthink. I just don't do, right? So one of the brands with Core 4 is our goal is to open up a small office in Puerto Rico and a small office in Sao Paulo, Brazil. I already have two people. I know, right? This is crazy. I speak Portuguese, Spanish, and English, but maybe a little English. So I have people in Puerto Rico that they're waiting. I have people in Brazil. And see, I know you're looking at me weird. You're asking me where the mistakes are. And so those are the things, fear, right? It's the same fear that many people have. They just don't say it out loud, right? And I'm grateful for the people that have been around me, because the next thing is I've learned is you have to layer in knowledge. And I love what Aaron said. You have to always be learning. The moment you stop learning, the moment you stop growing, is the moment you will fail. I have done this for 23 years, and those individuals that I've seen develop, they're not the race isn't one to the swift. It's one to those who are learning based, service based, which is why caring, organized, reliable, exceeding expectations, that has always been our mission, except it's hidden in our company name because it's for us, not for anyone else. And then just the biggest thing is, I remember coaching a class, and I would tell the people, bring your kids. I don't care, maybe your kids will learn. So at the end, and I wrote in big on the dry erase board, I wrote learn, right? 50 people left. This little boy, 7-year-old, looking at the dry erase board, he looks and he goes, huh. He takes his hand, he erases the L, and he goes, so you can earn. I will never forget that. That was, I said, from a 7-year-old. So always be learning. I can promise you, there's not your earning potential will outpace your thinking potential.
I love that. Wow. Who's got a nugget so far today? Make some noise. Because I took a page of notes and we're only partway through. All right. I got a question. Let's talk about past clients and follow up. What are you doing to keep in touch with your past clients? How do you organize your sphere? What kind of marketing do they get? And if you do events for them, what type of events do you do? I'll start in the middle. I'll start with Lisa if that's cool, because I know that she's has a system. So let's hear about it.
Okay. So we have systems implemented where we kind of regularly touch our SOI, our database, via a weekly newsletter, for starters. We have some campaigns that are automated. We include listing information, community information, um, the kind of traditional things that you would expect. But we also have client events that we do multiple times a year. In the springtime, we have a night golf event at the Winter Park 9, which has turned into a really fun thing. And we have in the fall, we are the title sponsor of the Winter Park Autumn Arts Festival. So we have a VIP tent and we invite, which that was just last weekend. So we invite clients to join us for that. And so these are kind of social interaction, kind of high touch events. And then we have a couple of other things that we do. We do a backpack drive, which we, going into the school year, where we invite our clients to participate in collecting school items for backpacks for the kids for Aloma Elementary. And then at Thanksgiving, we're kind of fourth quarter heavy. We do a gratitude giveaway, which is kind of an interactive. We sponsor a local charity, Family Promised, and we do Thanksgiving meals for all of their clientele. But as part of that, we do an outreach to, again, all of our sphere for a drawing that they can enroll in. So we have an opportunity to reach out and touch everyone to enter into this drawing. And we do New Year's, outreach. So we kind of have things once a quarter. The only we don't have an event scheduled in that kind of summer time. We find that we communicate with them via email, but we don't have an event.
What about mail, physical mail, and phone calls? What's the routine
Phone
there?
calls we all do individually. We make calls daily, to our sphere. We have each of the individual producers kind of has their own systems, for how they reach out and contact.
There's just some interroll or something.
Yes, yes. And kind of based on letters and their alphabetical. So
Right,
there's,
the database essentially.
yep. What we haven't done such a great job of, I think, is the ranking as the database. So that is something I think that we could improve on. But yes, we do the call touches and we do not do much direct mail. We do our traditional circular marketing for listings and sales, but we don't do a huge amount of direct mail to our SOI.
What's the call sound like? And what have you learned about making those events successful that people might not know?
I would say making the events successful is, I think, in large part when the team reaches out. We obviously do the invitations out, but it's the follow up, I think, that makes those successful. Is phone calling to follow up, texting, kind of all different avenues to reach out to the clients to make sure that they attend. And again, at the end of the day, we get good attendance, but the mere fact of touching the clients either via the phone call or the text, it's a touch point opportunity to have a conversation with them. What's going on in their life, what's going on with their family. So that's a win. All alone. So yeah, I think that helps with the success.
Are there any extra tidbits that you've learned that have made it improve the results or that have made maximize what you get out of it, or info you collect, or little things you do? Is there any tweaks that you've learned over the years that have made it better?
I think the follow up after the event, I think is really key.
What's that look or sound like?
It's thank yous out to everyone, and not just the folks that attended. And we do social media posts, of people love to see themselves in pictures. So, to do follow up via email, social media, and then individual, same thing, circle back. Thank yous via text, phone calls, and in our weekly email. That seems to be a great opportunity to close the loop. And then we always have an opportunity to say, and remember, we've got this coming up,
Love it.
for the next, whatever next event we have.
So what I'm hearing is that you're good follow up, good at the invitation system, managing the leads and following up with them. There's a weekly newsletter, so there's some kind of consistency, but there's also a few events scheduled.
Yeah.
So one of the things, this is a key that I think a lot of people miss. When you just plan one and it's a one-off shot, you don't have another thing to tell people about. Like when I tell someone come to masterclass and they can't come, I say, okay, sign up for November. So November might have 37 people that didn't make it today that already signed up for November. Well, we've learned that we do monthly content days. Well, the reason that we do a monthly is because the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th of the year are way easier to fill than the 1st or the 2nd, because someone that cancels or no shows or I can't make it rolls into a set date. So I think a lot of people make the mistake, just throwing out an answer to my own question, of doing a single one-off event and not knowing when the next one is. And even just knowing, hey, by the way, David can't make it this month. Well, there's something in November. I'll reach out to you. Even if that's January and you tell them about the end of the year, there's got to be something you're teeing up. As a sales manager, I was always trained that your goal is to get someone to the next event. And I think as a salesperson, it's always kind of the same when you're keeping track of your database or your team. Those of you that have teams, like your conversation is about getting them to the next event, whether that's the team meeting, their next session of making phone calls, the next masterclass, the next party. And if you don't know when the next event is, then you're missing out a ton because you can't get them to the next thing because you don't even know what that is. So just throwing that out there.
Well, one last thing is, I think consistency also, we've seen if you are consistent in doing these things year over year, it expands, and people start to anticipate, oh, this is coming up. Oh, I remember that. Oh, that was great fun. Oh, those pictures look great. I wish I was there. I think that
1,000%.
helps. Yeah.
You would be shocked how many times we have done something and had, good response, but not the response we wanted. But then when we go back, we realize how many people say, oh, the next time you do that, we want to be a part of it. Or, the first time we gave out awards for something, we're dropping all these awards off. People are like, that I sent 6 emails to, are like, oh, if I knew you were going to give me this award, I would have been at the Orpies. I'll be there next year. And then the next year it's a little bit bigger and it's a little bit bigger. So we've totally experienced that. Let's go to Marissa or Carol. Which of you wants to answer next? I'll let y'all pick.
I can go.
All right. Sphere, database, past clients. What are you doing to keep in touch with them?
I have a good database. I have a good database since Miami. Every single person who entered my restaurant, I collect the emails, and this is a good database for me today. I have almost 20,000 names on it.
How did you do that, out of curiosity? Like, what did that look like?
At the end of the meal, I always had a card and asked them to put their names, emails, to raffle something for, for a free meal, for like a nice dessert next time. I had a lot of recurring clients.
Love it.
And in my restaurant, I used to do the same as I do in my real estate business. I'm a marketing person. My background is marketing, hospitality, and I have an MBA in business administration. So I think marketing for all careers are key. You need to put yourself out there somehow. If you're not good with social media, if you're shy, do a little, but try to do something else. I love marketing. I try to do them all. I send emails regularly. Consistent is very important. Every 15 days. I don't do much like every week because I don't want people to unsubscribe. But I try to do bi-weekly and always with something relevant, information about Orlando lifestyle, because I believe, for me at least, I sell lifestyle. I just don't sell homes. So I like to send newsletters about lifestyle, what's coming up, always related with what I sell. And I see people like it. I receive replies saying, hey, Carol, never stop doing that. We went to that restaurant you suggested. And I do that in my social media too. I'm big with social media, but I think that even if a lot of people are on social media, there are people that just don't like social media. So I do the postcards. I do a lot of mailing. I am a mailing person. I love to see the mailings I receive. I love to like criticize, oh, what is this person doing? And wow, what a nice idea, what I shouldn't do and what I should do. So I get those ideas from my mailings. And I love sending mailings. Sometimes I stop a little bit, but I always try to come back, especially farming, the places that I want to work with. I just received a call yesterday from a mailing, and I have a listing presentation on Tuesday from that mailing.
Who are you farming, or what? How do you pick your farm? What are you sending them?
Usually where I live in Dr. Phillips.
Got it. So your own neighborhood.
Yeah. And Windermere too, because I have a lot of clients there. So I try to do both, but maybe
Windermere, part of Windermere,
part of
people you
Windermere.
know in Windermere.
Most on the luxury side.
And is it geographic? Is it a certain neighborhood, or is it just a list of people all over?
There's certain neighborhoods that I target. I don't go over it. I just select a few residences because I really invest on my postcards. Sometimes I send more. I send magazines. We have a lot of nice materials in Startup Bistro who helps out a lot to send nice stuff. But yeah, I love doing.
Can I ask you a few more questions on this?
Of course.
About how many people are in your farm? How many you're mailing to?
Between 800 and 1,000.
And how do you pick between neighborhoods? What are you looking for?
I open the map and I circulate the map who I want to receive it.
Just based off of a map?
Based off my knowledge of the neighborhoods and what I want to sell.
What are you looking for aside from price point?
High end, lakefront, communities that I know very well.
Are you studying attrition or other things, or is it just you know that you want to be getting these types of listings, so you go there?
That's it. I know that I want to be there. I sold a few houses there, and I want to be an expert on that particular community.
And then when you sell a house in a new area that you like, do you then target that area heavily too?
Oh yeah, and I send them a lot of postcards.
Talk about what you do when you have a new listing and a new, like, you plant your flag somewhere else. What's
Well, I do mailing, I do social media, amazing videos. I really invest on my videos. I'm not cheap on that.
And are you geofencing those or something?
Yes. And then I send postcards about I just listed, because usually they have a friend who wants to move into the neighborhood. And also that I just sold, trying to find another seller to represent, especially if it's a very nice, fast record square price per square foot sale.
Because it makes
And
a lot
it's
of
working.
noise. I love that. I got one or two more, if that's cool with you, on the farming thing. What is your talk about what you've learned? You said you send nice postcards and nice mailings. Tell the group about what you've learned about what is nice, what to look for, what you don't do.
Well, I always try, because I like to pick the postcards I receive. I always try to be different. Not send the same size as everybody. I want my postcard to stand out. So size, I pick a nice size, clean, not a lot of colors, information, a picture, my contact information, and a nice sentence transferring and passing the information I want to pass to the client.
Love it. When I was sending the emails out, I was thinking, like, all pink might not get received that well. So I was thinking about the same thing. Like, how do you balance the two and make it look okay?
Yeah.
Tell me one more thing. What does your call to action look like? Or is there a call to action in what you mail?
I like to put QR code. I think this is easy, an easy way to people to capture my contact information. And sometimes I put a QR code for them to scan, and it goes straight to my website so they can get an estimate of the value of their homes. And I check that every single day, because when I see that someone is scanned it, I call them, or I send another letter directly to the person asking if they are looking for sale, because I saw that they did an estimate on my website.
Wow.
And this comes through the QR code that I put on the postcards.
Love it. How many of you guys learned something so far? Make some noise. We'll keep going. I grill you for a minute, so I wanted to at least break that up a bit. Let's hear, Fernanda, what do you do to keep in touch with your sphere, past clients? And what type of events do you do?
So going back to a mistake, I think that working in this industry for so long. When I started, there was no CRM. You just had a list. And one of my number one mistake was not to organize my CRM as it should have been. The way that I keep up with my current clients is I am very personal person, and sometimes I'm like, how you can scale and not, still continue with the personal touch. It's a tough thing to do because a lot of my clients, they wanted to work with me. They don't want to work with, another agent, because otherwise they'll be hiring another agent. So it's very, very hard, I think, to scale when you're so personal. And my number one thing, I add everybody to my social media, and I know them, I know their history, their story, and I'm genuine interest in their life. So every time I see a milestone that they post online, I like to go and comment. I'm very personal. I call them to talk about their life only, not necessarily business. And we do send a weekly newsletter. And it's so interesting because sometimes you don't think that those things work until you start doing them. And then you're talking to one of your old clients and they're like, oh, I love getting your emails. I love to see how well you're doing. Because a lot of times, those clients, they're going to be also your cheerleaders. And they're going to be proud of you for doing so well and doing all the things that you're doing. So, yeah, I'm very tough with my email campaign right now. I'm very focused on that. And what else? We do postcards too. And you'll also be surprised because I do think that postcard doesn't necessarily bring the client, but just puts your name out there. So I like to put my picture big because I want them to know me. Like, who's that girl? And one time I was parking to my office, I get this call. Hey, Fernanda, I just got your postcard. And you sold a lot of homes in my neighborhood. Do you think you can come to have a look at my house? I'm like, yeah, are you available now? They're like, yes, I am. This is another thing too. You can't overthink it. And like, oh, let me check my schedule and this. You're going to miss out, guys. I went straight to that client's house. When I got there, it was a $2 million property. And I left there with a listing agreement signed. So I think you have to be consistent, do a little bit of everything, invest in your social media, in your presence online. As old school Asians, I don't know how many of you guys are here, but we think that, oh, I don't have to do this because I already have my database. I already have my referral clients. The moment that you start missing out because you're not putting yourself out there, and then they're going to buy with another agent who doesn't even have half of this experience that you do just because they're putting themselves out there. That happened to me, okay? Because I hated social media. I did not want to post anything. My social media was all personal. And I remember like today I got a referral from my cousin. Fernanda, I want to buy a home. And, like we talked for like almost an hour. And at the end of the conversation, she's like, what is your Instagram? Let me see, if there are homes there that I like. And I'm like, holy smokes. I never sent her my Instagram because it was all personal. And I missed out on that client because she ended up buying with someone else who was so active on Instagram. Right there was when I decided to change. And I'm like, I have to make a change here. And we have to get out of our comfort zone because it's easy to get there, So it doesn't have to be perfect. When my first videos, if you go back, my first pictures, my first videos, they all suck, And I still think they suck today. They're way better than before because we are our worst enemy. We criticize ourselves so much. But just do it. Do it because it will pay it off, So we do events. So every year, so real quick, I do a Christmas party, and it became so big that this year I'm so stressed out because I have too many people, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how much money I'm gonna spend on this, And our Christmas party is like the Christmas party. So we have our agents and clients, and everybody shows up. And
I know you guys
we
want to
just have a good
invite to
time.
her Christmas party. Raise your hand. Casey didn't have enough.
I'm telling you, it is their Christmas party. And I try to engage with the community. We're coming up with new ideas of wellness, and and you just have to always be embracing. That's all.
Love it. Love it. Marissa?
So I tend to be a little bit more structured on our team with how we do marketing. The marketing plan it starts actually December 31st. We sit at a meeting, and every team member should have some type of outreach event that is personal to them. And I think you shared something like, it starts small and then grows big.
Yeah.
And you think the small, and you're like, oh, no one's going to show up, but 3 people showed up, and then next time 10 people showed up, and the next time. So he's going to kill me when I say this, but one of our senior agents, so I'm a big believer in building other people's dreams. He loves watches, and I remember sitting down with him and saying,
Glad you
"What?"
said this because I was going to ask you about the watches.
I said, "What do you love? What do you love? You've got to do what you love. This is a relational business." My husband loves cars. If anyone knows my husband, we're talk about events with Celebration Exotic Cars. He's been on the board of directors for almost 19 years. We always make jokes. We're the quiet realtors that no one knows that everyone knows. Like, we do things because we're passionate about it. It's a charity organization to make awareness and all this. So Aaron started with us, and I said, Aaron, what do you love? And he said, oh, it's no big deal. I don't have, I said, what do you love? Watches. I couldn't tell you the first thing about watch. I own one, and it's my dad's. And he sat down, he goes, and I said, what do you mean? He goes, and I was like, okay, well, let's do something around watches. He goes, well, what do we do? That journey started 5 years ago. 5 years ago. His first year, he failed. And the second, and I have a tool called the 135 that I set up with every team member, and it's their goals, not my goals. It's their
135 year.
right. It's their actions. And year number 2, he sat down. He goes, it doesn't work, Marissa. I said, oh no, brother, we are not doing that. I said, this is your passion. We are going to find a way to make it work. Like Fernanda said, don't give out, don't give up, right? Process over perfection. And that's what he had missed. He had missed process. Today, it's called the official, if you want to go on Instagram, but it's called the Official Watch Group. And he has the Official Watch Group of Orlando. We've done events at Porsche, Ferrari, Bulgari, Dior, Louis Vuitton. I can keep going on. I don't say
They're
that.
full.
What?
I've been, they get 200 people plus.
Right. It's like there's a private event tonight. It's just the things that have happened has exploded because it's his passion project. I remember sitting with Hermes and the director, and we're sitting having Capitol Grill, and he goes, "Who are you?" And I go, "Oh, I'm his assistant." And he goes, "I don't think you're his assistant." And I was like, and Aaron shared a little bit about our history. When you're doing marketing, be careful to do check marks. Be careful to do it just because someone else said to do it. If you don't understand it and you are not passionate about it, it does not leave your hands. Because when you do this, you must build it with consistency. Because Aaron's first event was 20 people, 13 people, 12, 10. There we go. It is now, the last event was 150, and easy. And it was like and more people wanted to come, and it's a private event. We've had my husband's cars. We have events at the Four Seasons, private. Cars and coffee, then there's a cars and cocktail, my favorite. So every person on our team has to pick something that they're passionate about. Do we do calls? We call it calling with Core 4 on Wednesdays. Yes. Is there a process on when you call? When you do open houses? Does everybody know that you do open houses on Saturdays, not on Fridays, not on Mondays? You do them. These are statistics, by the way. I could give you the statistics. I'm a numbers girl. Like, I can ramble all this number out, but there's not enough time. Mondays and Fridays should be your admin days. Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays should be your lead generating days. And by the way, this is a boots on the ground moment. More than ever, buyers do not trust what they see online. If they don't know you, they know these ladies, they don't do business with you. I can promise you, if you get boots on the ground and you get to where, and people have told me, I'm just not an outward person. If you met Aaron a long time ago, you would never believe that this man is actually doing this, running this big organization.
By the way, she's talking about Aaron on her team over there.
Sorry, that Aaron.
I see some confused faces, so I just want to make sure I clarified that one.
My apologies. He's my senior buyer's agent. He's been with me for 9 years. Those are marketing is not a to-do task. Marketing is part of your branding. It is part of your mission statement. It is part of who you are. And when people see the authentic you, they want to be part of that conversation. So remember, whatever part, and you should start planning December 31st of this year, and you should do one a quarter. And it's, Barry does, she did Homeowners Association events at Summer Lake. She loved them. We would get calls. Hey, are you the group who do events? We would get sponsors. We would get the title company to sponsor a basket. We would get, when I first started, I remember I had no money. No money. I was like, let's see how to do this one, right? Everybody knows that, right? You just do it. There's enough of these partners that have marketing dollars that there's no reason that you couldn't do a marketing event. So
How do you start, or maybe I should ask Aaron this, but how do you start when you are building a niche, like when you're not marketing to a neighborhood, a database, or something, but you're starting a group? How do you start it?
So
where do you market? Are you just getting alliances with local places or people, or?
So you start with you. It starts with you. If you don't believe in what you're building, it's not going to work. Like I've seen people start a car group. I've seen people start a watch group. I've seen people start, you name it, and it's just not authentic. So it's got to be authentic.
So it starts with you as being excited, and it kind of grows from
being
there.
Plugged in, and then just starts with your sphere, and then it goes out.
Love it. I want to ask everybody about fourth quarter planning and what you're doing to pivot for expectations in 2026. So Marissa talked a little bit about how they plan, so I'll switch to this side. Let's hear what you're doing to plan for next year, what you're doing to finish. Let me rephrase this. What you're doing to finish out the year strong, what you're doing to plan for next year, and any pivots you're making because of what you expect 2026 to look like.
For 2025, I think we're pretty, we're good with our goals that we made last year, and we're on the track to reach them. So I am more like now planning, our events for the last, of course, like trying to finish up the year strong. This is the number one thing. So reaching back to our listings, there's a lot of listings sitting in the market, and you can't. This is another thing that I feel like, sometimes an agent get a listing, they just let it sit there, and then they don't even call the client anymore because the listing is just sitting on the market. You have to evolve. Like you have to pick up the phone and call that seller and say, hey, what are we doing here? Let's sell this house, and come up with a better plan. Even if sometimes your listing has been sitting for too long, you need to give a new makeup, let's switch around, like get new pictures, or even add someone else to your team to that listing. So host the open houses. So right now, our main goal is to sell our listings before December 31st, and finish the year strong. But we're doing well. We already reached our
you're
goals.
freshening it up. You're looking at listings. You're contacting the people. You're switching sometimes who's on it. You're switching the photos.
Yes.
So another one, last month in Space Coast, I had a really good suggestion from one of the panelists, and she said that most people screw up, that the first 5 photos aren't the 5 best.
Oh, let me tell
Like
you.
whatever order they get them in.
Oh, but
So I just figured I'd share that because you might
I
want to
look
refresh
at
the
every
order.
single agent's pictures at my office. And if I see a bad picture, they're getting a phone call from me. Excuse me. Yeah.
What's bad? Like what are the things they should look for?
But if they're out of order, it's, it's one thing. If they're not professional, there's no excuse for that. I mean, this the minimum you can do for your client. And like you said, if you get the pictures from your photographer and you just upload with no order, if you put like 5 pictures of the front of the house before it gets to the kitchen, that's a bad thing too. So I'm very particular with the little details. and I'm calling them, so they all know. I say, hey, we got to fix this. What else? The description, it's a big thing. Just make sure that all the information is accurate. You know how many listings? I was doing some comps 2 days ago of lakefront properties, and there was property that were lakefront. It wasn't even marked down as lakefront. So I had to go like one by one just to see, because I saw that house. I'm like, that house is not here. Why? And then I went back to see. I'm like, oh, they did not say it. It was lakefront in the MLS. How many clients are you missing out because on their search they specifically put they want a lakefront property? So just be very attention to the detail. But going back, so again, trying to sell our listings is our number one priority now. Getting ready for our Christmas party is another thing. And we just rebrand our office. So there's a lot of work that we're doing just to start the year strong.
Love it. Anything else you're telling your agents to do to prepare for 26?
Yes. So I told them that if they want to finish the year strong, they better get a deal by next week. Otherwise, they won't have time. Just I think at the end of the year, there's two type of agents. There's the agents that take their time to refresh and they go away and to come back fresh for the beginning of the year. And there are the agents who actually work double, because for me, every time I'm in Orlando on Christmas and New Year's, I'm working more than ever because all the agents are off. So if you guys are not going on vacation, like, just go work because nobody's here. So people are calling you and show up,
Love it.
I think this is pretty much what it is.
Great. Kale, what are you doing to finish the year strong, and what are you doing to get ready for 2026?
Well, as Fernanda said, I not take vacation at the end of the year. Last year was the first time in 8 years that I had a vacation in a 1 week for the New Year's Eve. I work a lot at the end of the year. Besides the national clients, a lot of international clients, Brazilians especially, they are in town to visit and they want to buy. So every January and February, I start very strong with the closings from December contracts. And yeah, we're working regularly to achieve our goals. We are pretty strong this year too. I'm focusing on the listings too, listings that are staying on the market. I'm encouraging my team to do more open houses, to put the house out there. The market is not a strong market that we are, so we need to put a more effort in our listings, send more postcards about the listings, not try to prospect new buyers and take care of the sellers that we have right now, taking care and putting more attention in the listings.
Are y'all noticing a pattern here?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, it's important because the listings are sitting more time, right? And we gotta sell them. If we don't sell them, someone will. So we need to commit with the clients. Depending on how long they're on the market, I change pictures too. I reorganize. I put a fresh description. This is important as well. Planning for 2026 already, what we want to do different, especially as a team. I have a lot of things in my mind for the team.
what's that process look like? Is it just a meeting? Is there a process you follow?
Meeting, and we always have at the end of the year like a business plan for next year. I sit with all of them, each of them, seeing what their goals are for next year as an individual and as a team. How I can help them achieving their goals and encourage them what they need to do to achieve their goals. And we are getting there, almost the time of the year that I'm going to sit with all of them.
Love it.
To put goals, I really believe in goals. I think goals move us. For me myself, I need goals. My biggest competitor is myself. I always want to do better every year. So I don't look to the other agents as well. I love seeing what they're doing. Like Fernanda do a great job. I really admire what she does, and I like to look to see like that, but my competition is with me. So I always like to put highest goals for me and think about what I can do better next year and what my team can do better next year. And that's the time of the year that we work for that.
Love it. Since you brought up the goals, how many of you, raise your hand if you manage or lead people in some capacity? Who here in this room? All right. So for all the leaders in this room, you guys all mentioned this, but I figured I'd point out the priority. I won't make you raise your hand, but think about those of you that raised your hand if you know all of your people's goals right now for next year or what they're really working on. And if the answer is not all of them, then you've got a really big area of opportunity that I think a lot of people, they want to manage people to get a result. And I made this mistake. This is why I know this, because when I was 19, I opened an office and I tried to manage these kids to sell. And I thought we were managing them well and teaching them well. But what I realized at the end of the summer was that I didn't really learn what was driving them and motivating them enough. I was talking about how great things could happen if they did this, but I didn't know that Joey's working for this reason and Bob's working for that reason. He's working to pay for school and so and so. So I think a lot of us, we get mixed up in our own goal and then we want to help the people below or around us, but then we're not really actually figuring out what they want enough to manage each conversation and remind them and put it in perspective of the thing you're telling them to do or the thing you're asking them to do in perspective of the long-term goal that they're actually working on. So it's kind of like trying to drive a car without filling up with gas. A lot of people in this room, you may just want to get with your people and figure out what they actually want so that you can fuel up the gas tank and know where to drive it. So I just figured I'd add that. Lisa, what are you doing to finish the year strong and to get your team ready for next year?
I'll start with the business planning part because that's we have a consistent every end of October, first week in November, we do business planning for the new year. And it starts with, and we've been doing this for really decades. I feel like it's a good system, but we start with the individual producers on their why and their goals. And we do a kind of a roll up. So we have a preliminary before we get together for business planning. We kind of call it the good, the bad, and the ugly, analyze what happened this year. What did you do well? What wasn't so great? Why are you doing this? What's your financial goal? How are we going to get there? What can the team do to support you? So there's some thought put together going into our business planning. And then we do an offsite at least one day, sometimes 2 full days. And we collectively kind of go through all of those topics. And if we feel as a team that, we really think we need to improve our social media or videos or something, we'll make a specific kind of line item goal for the new year. We are going to improve this. And we try to make them quantifiable goals at a team level and at individual levels. So at our business planning, there's kind of strategic plans, tactical plans, and we end up, coming out of that with very specific line item things that we're going to do in the new year. And it rolls out to specific GCI goal, unit goals, per individual roll up for the team. And so we got a plan going into, January 1. So
I want to extrapolate something you said to make sure that people caught it. She said that there's a strategy and then there's a tactic, right?
Yes.
So the strategy is like the big vision of what we're trying to accomplish. The tactic is the method we're trying to accomplish it with.
Yeah.
And often then there's a third thing, which is the tool.
Yeah.
Strategy level, tactic level, tool. Like strategy is we want everyone to show up for this thing. The tactic is, let's use the Orpies. We want everyone to show up for the Orpies. The tactic is put a lot of people up for awards. The tool is use SurveyMonkey to vote for the people or something. And a lot of people don't look at all 3 levels. So I think she was hitting on that, but I wanted to make sure everyone caught that.
Yeah. That actually is a process which I learned at IBM. They were very good at having doing planning session and having an output product that is very usable going into the new year. So that's our business planning, and we have that coming up on November 4th. We always do a photo shoot at our business planning for, the new team photo for, the 2026. So that rolls out into our New Year's cards and our touch points for the new year, yada, yada. Now for finishing fourth quarter strong, we do weekly team meetings, which we review everything in the pipe, both listings, pending sales, and buyer needs, and we call it bulletproofing. So, we'll go through the list like, okay, this listing, why is it still on the market? Okay, let's look at the pictures. Let's look at the price. What's going on with the seller? What's going on? And we all collectively kind of mastermind on, you know what, that fence is a problem, or, that the pictures are out of order, or, whatever it is. And we try to bulletproof that listing so it's teed up for maximum opportunity to get under contract ASAP. Same with, buyers. The buyer sale that someone's looking for this, again, we'll mastermind. Hey, did you see the new listing on Chestnut? You need to get them over there. Or here's an off-market deal. Let's go show them this. And then same with pendings. I'm a big believer you got to do everything right, anticipate anything that can go wrong to make sure that deal closes or closes early, if possible. We try to, make sure that don't leave enough time for something to go wrong. Like bring that in, get her closed. So we do problem solve on, contract strategies and that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. Marissa, how are you closing
Ditto.
out the year?
Ditto.
And what are you
Is
going
it-
to stall
so-
for next year?
So we use tools to prepare for next year, because anything you do or you don't do, whichever one, takes 60 to 90 days. So we are day number 50, I think, or something like that before the end of the year, 49. So we're well into next year already. And so
What you mean by that is what you start today, you'll see maybe 40 days in the next year. Is that what I'm hearing?
60 to 90 days. So yeah, right.
So like end of February. Like if you start today, you're looking at results end of February.
Right. So that helped me when I was new, because then I said, okay, don't kill yourself to say like, you suck because, you didn't get it done by December. Well, you're doing a process. Remember, it's process over perfection. I have to remind myself that every day. So we do that. We do weekly meetings. We review all of our listings. We've been doing that and systematically been getting these closed, because these puppies are not easy to close. Know your numbers. Get your data in front of you. Our chief economist was just sharing that in the entire U.S., days on the market in Florida are an average of 107 days. We use that stat speaking to a seller who's in full freakout mode. And I said to him, we're on day number 86. We got this. We're getting the people there. If you don't have your data in front of you, it's going to be a very bumpy road. So that's what I would recommend, really, because that helps you. Because, I always say emotion makes people react or act, and logic makes people think. This is a time to hunker down and really start getting tools that help you. End of year, we have an end of year meeting where we all sit down and we all have not just what our goals are, but how are we going to achieve these goals? In other words, what are you as an individual planning to do? Are you planning to network? Are you planning to do an open house? Are you planning to do broker care events? Are you planning to do builder meetings? Are you planning? There's like a long, long list and get with that you can do, and it really should have belly to belly business. If you're not meeting a person, you're doing this wrong. Try not to get lost in the weeds with getting things perfect on your newsletter. Just get the newsletter out. If you have the social media, just open it up. I totally agree with Fernanda.
You're not even reading the details anyway.
I agree with you.
And if they are, you'll realize someone's reading it.
Right.
When someone says, hey, you made a mistake here, I'm like, thank you. I was wondering if anybody was reading this.
I said that. I've actually
I'm
said
serious. It's nice to know.
And so, it is so true. Just do it. That sort of Nike Swish commercial, just do it. But make sure you're doing it around a tribe that really supports you. And some people take criticism, but you need critiquing. Does that make sense? I sit and my team will be like, Marissa, we forgot to do this. And I'm like, gotcha. It's a critique, not a criticism. and I get on it because my mind is everywhere and nowhere sometimes. I don't know if anyone else is there. So these tools that we're sharing help you to ground it. And then last but not least, some of the guys may find this corny, but create vision boards, 5-year vision boards. There's some really great CEOs I've met, and they all have some form of vision board, and you're only 5 years from where you need to be.
Be careful what you put on them. That's a little tidbit I learned.
Oh, 100%.
I once cut out something from people were cutting my magazine at this thing, and I was like, well, there's a picture of me. I might as well put me on my vision board. I mean, so I put this thing, and I cut this random thing out of a magazine that said "The Brain of the Boss." And I don't know what magazine it was. I just thought it sounded cool, and I was like, so I threw it on the vision board, and I had a brain injury like 4 months later, and I was like, nah, damn vision board. So be careful what you put on your vision board. It might actually come true.
Really good stuff on.
I should have had something about the brain. There was no commentary. It was just a thing. Anyone else have anything you want to share that you think this room needs to hear?
I do. I want to say something. So, a lot of you guys took your time to come here today and sit here and listen to us, and you do that every month of the year here, and you can go to as many as Mastermind or watch as many videos as you have time to do so. But at the end of the day, it's really like, what are you gonna do after you leave this room? Like, how many of you guys are gonna actually put the effort and take the knowledge and everything that was shared with you and take action into? Because this job, there's no secret. It's you have to go to work, and that's it. There's no secret. If you work every day, if you have your, I was watching a video before I come here, because every time when you call, I'm like, I'm gonna, like watch something to inspire me to come to these meetings, and it got me what the video. I forgot who was, some random person, but whatever. He was saying real estate, it can make everyone's dream to happen. Like, how many people came from nothing and they became something because of real estate? And we are in this position to make someone else. We're not just an agent. We're like an advisor to the most of the people. And when you take that and you treat your clients with care and understand their needs and helping them to make it happen, this is, everything changed. But you can't forget to put the effort into it and know your market, because people, they want to work with people that know what they're doing. So if you have a client looking to buy a house in Winter Park and you have no idea what the average price in Winter Park is, they're not going to buy from you. I'm so sorry to tell you this, So the MLS is an amazing tool for you to understand what's in the market. Open that thing up every day. Every morning, I open up my MLS, and I can name every property that's on the market in the area that I work, because I search every day. I know what's the inventory. I know the homes are sold. So this is what's going to make you succeed. And not, this is the main difference. You just need to put your effort into it, and there's no secret. That's what I think,
Love it. If you learned anything at all today, could you jump to your feet and give a giant round of applause for all of these ladies on the panel that absolutely crushed it?